And we're back, another edition of ESL Trailblazer. I'm Nandis, ESL Trailblazer, and welcome back. And today, it's hopes and fears. Hopes and fears, we all have them. How do we express them? How do we tell people what our hopes are and what our fears are? And how do we do it in a diplomatic way sometimes so that maybe people don't know really how hopeful or how fearful we may be. Stay tuned, because in this episode, I'll be covering some language about that. And before we get started, it's always a quote. You know it. Love those quotes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. I love that quote. Nelson Mandela. The reason I enjoy it so much is because, well, how true and simple is that, right? That if we're making choices that are coming from a place of fear, they're probably not going to be very good ones, and they're going to have a negative impact, right? And if it's coming from a place of hope, then you're probably going to be a lot more gratified and happy with the decisions or the choices you make. But right after this intro, we'll get into the language. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Remember, if you want to get updates on these shows, you just subscribe in the button below. You've heard a million times. And obviously, the best thing you could do is share it with others so you can spread the word. For those who care about fluency in any regard, whether you're a teacher or a learner, this is what these episodes are about. Okay, so remember, you can get more from this episode regarding the topic that I'm covering today. So, what are the expressions? Without further ado, let's get started. The first one, don't
tell me what to do.
Don't get your hopes up. The next one, hopes dashed. The next one, give up hope. The next one, the sky's the limit. Yes, that's all I'm gonna say. Getting cold feet is the next expression. A bundle of nerves, pluck up the courage, and leap in the dark.
In the darkness.
Now, if you've watched last week's episode, bada boom, I covered take the plunge in the context of making choices. So leap in the dark is going to be very similar to that one, right? Okay, we don't know what the consequences or what the results are going to be of the action or decision we take, and maybe it's because it's out of our control. So we're taking a leap in the dark. Maybe it's accepting the job. Maybe it's taking the promotion. Maybe it's staying in that relationship, etc. Okay? That's the first one. Don't get your hopes up is what we say to somebody before you know what the end result is going to be. However, that person needs to be told that expression because they're getting very excited, maybe too excited, and it's not definite. It's not 100% certain that what they're excited about is going to happen. So we say, don't get your hopes up, stay down to earth. Don't get your expectations too high because you don't want to be disappointed, all right? Very useful expression in any context. Next one is hopes dashed. If your hopes get dashed or you give up hope, you quit. You lose your hope. All right, the sky's the limit. That's great for anybody who's out there looking for personal development, okay? Because when you need motivation, especially in the context of motivation, this is what you want to say to people. The sky's the limit. That means that they have lots of potential. Great word. When you believe in someone having a lot of potential, you want to say the sky's the limit. When you believe that there's a lot to be learned and a lot to be gained, you're going to say that the sky's the limit with regards to where they can reach with their knowledge or their skills or their abilities, qualifications, career path. Boom. I think it's clear. What's left? A bundle of nerves and getting cold feet, those kind of go together, right? And you might have them in your own language. They just mean that you're getting scared, you're getting nervous, you're getting anxiety, you're feeling uncomfortable, okay? Before a speech, before a presentation, before a job interview, before the big hot date. Enough said. What's left? Pluck up the courage is when you need to ask for something. Whether it's asking out someone on a date. I don't know if anybody young is doing that these days because of all these apps that are available. But again, you have to ask and you don't know the answer you're going to get. So what do you have to do? You have to pluck up the courage to ask that question. To whether it's a favor or a date or to fix something, anything that you want somebody to do for you, or you'd like to receive something and you know it's a big ask. You gotta pluck up the courage to do it, okay? So that's it for the language for this week's episode. I hope you've gotten some value from it. Share if you care. I appreciate your viewership. You're great. It's all about the viewers. Thank you very much. And remember, make something happen.